So guys, first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be washing my oxtail. Yes, like, see, I've already cleaned my sink if I did all of this. So I'm just going to be using some lime to wash the oxtail. Like, I need to really wash this thing. As you can see, like, wash it. You wash it until the meat almost looks white. Like, anyway, I shall wash the oxtail with lime, or you can use lemon juice or salt. And then when you are done, you just rinse that out and then put it in a bowl and get ready to start cooking. So guys, I'm going to be cutting some of my ingredients now: my green peppers, my onions, and my tomatoes. So just cut some green peppers in cube like sections, cut some onions as well in the same size, and then cut your tomatoes. I use 1.5 tomatoes for this recipe in the same size as well. Of course, all the ingredients I'm going to be using for my seasoning is on the screen above. So my oxtail seasoning, my allspice seasoning, my salt, stock cubes, ginger, garlic, and all that good stuff that I'll be using. My browning as well. You need browning when you are making oxtail stew. It just really elevates the taste. I'm just going to mix that all together, as you can see, and I'm just going to use that to season my oxtail. So I started seasoning it in a bowl, and then I just discovered that my delicacy was not working out well for me. So I put it into a tray and I just added all my seasoning in there, and I seasoned it adequately and left to rest. So guys, it's time to cook your oxtail. So I put 2 teaspoons of oil in the pan, and I'm just going to be browning the oxtail. So browning literally means putting the oxtail on fire and allowing heat to touch each side until the meat turns brown. Like, that's the best way to explain it. So you don't want to burn your meat, but you just want the meat to receive enough heat, or you only want to seal the meat really before you continue cooking it. And I would advise you to do this before you throw this in the pressure cooker. Normally people cook their oxtails either in a pan for about 5 hours, but as you know, bills are billing and you don't want to do that. So I advise you use your pressure cooker, and as I said in my recipe, that's what we're going to be using here, a pressure cooker. So next thing I'm going to be doing, guys, I'm going to be sauteing my tomatoes, onions, and peppers. Yes, just sauteing and mixing that around, and I'm going to be adding my tin tomato paste as well. Yes, because you need tin tomato paste in this recipe. Just follow what I'm telling you to do. You cannot go wrong. You want to cook that down for about 10 minutes on low heat. So keep on stirring, keep on cooking. You really want to cook it. See, even though you're going to cook it in the pressure cooker as well, you really want to cook it for a bit of time so that the peppers are well cooked. If you feel that the sauce is a bit too dry, you can add another teaspoon of oil as well, which I did just to ensure that it's not burning. The reason why I'm cooking it in the same pan is that you want all those juices from the meat that has settled in the pan to be added into your stock pot when it is time to cook everything in the pressure cooker. And I can assure you, oh god, this oxtail was beautiful. So guys, you're going to be using your pressure pot now. I'm going to add all my oxtail into the pot, and then I'm going to add my rodo as well. I use 3 rodos for this recipe, but you could use more or less depending on your spice levels. This rodo was not so spicy, so I even wish I used more. Then I'm going to be adding my peppers and onions stir fry that I made a few minutes ago as well into this stock pot, because that is just essential. It's part of the recipe. And then I'm going to be rinsing down my pot with some water so I don't lose any of my juices. So remember, I don't want to lose any of my juices, so I'm just going to rinse that pot with some water and add that into my pressure pot. See, juices layers are so important when making oxtail stew. So see, everywhere that you have used a pot, rinse it into the pressure pot. See, yes, I'm telling you, don't go and rinse dirty pot though, but like, you get what I mean. Look at all those juices. I will not lose that. Hey, god forbid. Anyway, so beautiful. Anyways, as I was saying, we're going to add our spices now. As you can see on this screen, these are all the spices I added. I added my browning, my oxtail spice, my all-purpose spice, or pimento as they call it, salt, and a stock cube. Like, just follow exactly what I did. You cannot go wrong. See. Then guys, you want to add enough water to cover the oxtail, just about to cover it. As you can see in the screen, it's not above it, it's not below it, it's just on the same layer as the oxtail. Like, So I advise you use boiling water as well, because when you use boiling water, everything just cooks faster. Then I'm going to be adding my bay leaves, because you just want an infusion of like the curry spice. See, I don't like curry, so I will use bay leaves because it gives you like a slightly heated taste as well. And then I'm just going to lock my pressure pot. Yes, you want to lock your pressure pot. And if you have not used a pressure pot before, when you're using a pressure pot, it gets to a point when the pressure has risen in the pot that it starts making noise. And from the point it starts making noise, you want to pressurize your oxtail for a minimum of 15 minutes, depending on your sizes of your oxtail, so as much as 30 minutes. So if you want it more fall off the bone, a longer time. But if you want it just tender and just stuck on the bone, I would suggest 15 minutes for this. Honestly, I feel like 15 to 20 minutes is adequate time in the pressure pot after the noise of the pressure pot starts or when after the pot starts making noise, or after the pot has pressurized. Or you can follow whatever instruction your pressure pot asks you to follow. But this is what I did. I can assure you that I'm not a dirty girl, but my dear, when it comes to making oxtail, I told you, you don't want to miss any pot that you have used. So I'm just going to be pouring my oxtail from my pressure pot into my pan, the same pan I used earlier, and it's time to finish up my oxtail stew. Oh god, this stew was, hey, I'm telling you, it was on point. So my oxtail is tender enough, it's soft enough. For me, as I said, if you want it more fall off the bone, spend a longer time, but I used 15 minutes for it to be this soft, which is enough for me. However, if you want more fall off the bone, as I said, increase your time, but nothing more than 20 minutes, to be honest. As you can see, the color of the stew is looking, oh, if I clap for me. And if you have not subscribed at this point, I don't even know what you are doing. Like, you should have subscribed. So I'm going to taste it to make sure that my spice, my salt, everything I need is enough, because of course we have used a pressure pot, and you just want to make sure that all this is enough. If you feel like you need anything extra, you can add some extra salt or some extra stock cubes, but my dear, it was perfect for me. So I don't think you may need any more spices. You want this to bubble up as well, because it's still a stew. We are still cooking it. Yes, I told you, oxtail takes time, it takes effort, but my dear, when you are eating it, it is so glorious, and that is what we all want. So guys, I'm going to be adding one of my favorite things that I add to every stew, which is onions. So I cut my onions in medium cube sizes, so not chopped but medium cube sizes, and I'm just going to add that in, because an oxtail, when you bring it out of the pressure pot, is a bit loose or liquid. You want it to be thickened, so you add some cornstarch. Normally when people add their beans into their oxtail, it thickens up the stew, or some potatoes, but I use cornstarch. So in a little cup, you can add 3 teaspoons of cornstarch and just add some liquid to loosen up the powder, and then just add that into your recipe. If you think that it is still a bit too loose for you after cooking for about 1 minute, you can add a bit more. So just do that and allow the stew to simmer. Just allow it to simmer and simmer and simmer. So guys, you just want this to simmer, as I said, simmer for 2 to 3 minutes on medium to low heat. And guys, I can assure you that this oxtail is going to come out looking perfectly. If I am tasting, but let me show you if you don't want to believe me. This is the final look of my oxtail. You can eat this with rice, potatoes, or anything you want. I hope you try this recipe, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.